It's up for grabs now!
Magic ball from Bergkamp to Patrick Vieira!
Oh, would you believe it? Oh, right, what a way to get it!
Fabulous solo goal by pierre-emerick.
Champions.
Good evening, or should I say good afternoon? It feels like evening. Yeah, man. Like when you're doing it, are we, bro? All that intro, all that trap music and like pizzazz and pictures, and what we got to talk about today. Yesterday's result. I don't even know if anyone's tuning in at the time, but we wanted. You know what? Yesterday was easy. We could have just jumped on yesterday, but I just needed some time, man. I just need to reflect on what happened yesterday, and I'll have to say this: last night's game, more than any other, broke my heart yesterday, and that's because I saw no fight, I saw no cohesion, I saw nothing to be excited about. And yesterday, I have to say, it has broken me a little bit. Shaheen, bro, sorry, I know it's a negative start to the show. But we got lots to get through. There's going to be people on here to interact with. We've got Tyrone Powell, old school gooners already here, bro. How you doing? There's a new name in town, H1. Welcome, man, and thanks for supporting. Shaheen, we decided to do this today, bro. We called a very quick meeting and said, let's just do this, get it off our chest. You saw what happened yesterday before we go into it. How you doing anyway? How you feeling about the whole thing?
I'm good. These boys don't make life easy for us fans, but you know, it's a shame they don't have the same passion and the same love that we have for the club. So I don't know if they'll be hurting as much as us, but it's becoming norm now. You know, I wasn't even angry. I don't know. It's a weird feeling. I can't associate this feeling to Arsenal because it's new. You know.
You know, well, let's just go straight into it, guys. And there's already a few people in here, man. What are you not working? No one working in it. There's a few people on different time zones as well. The Assembled says hello. Michael Thomas says hello. Look, we'll go into all of this stuff in a bit with the chats. Keep anything you guys have got bottled up from last night. Yeah, this is your chance. Just chuck them out at us. Let's just like, I don't know, exercise the demons between us because
Stop it.
Yes, Don Pablo, something to laugh about, isn't it? Wait, yeah, Don Pablo, do you want to put out some hits on that board? Anyway, so let's go straight into it. Man, so we predicted in our previous show 4-3-3. And guess what? That's what we got. We got 4-3-3. He sort of looked at that through the Europa and everything, and you know, like we discussed, he's thinking there's a bit more cohesion there, so he's gone with it. So he's gone Leno, standard, Bellerin, standard, although for me, that's questionable already. We can talk about that in a bit of depth. He's gone Luiz, he's gone Gabriel, which is pretty standard. And then Tierney, no real complaints other than maybe right back for me. And then this is where the problem starts. And again, I'm trying to hold myself back here. Xhaka, Ceballos, and he went Willock. Now, did that work? And then he's gone with the three. Aubameyang, he's gone Willian, and he's gone Saka. Now, I'm not going to go into... Hi, Kesh. How you doing, bro? Didn't see you come in there sneaking in, bro. So, look, before I go into what I thought... Well, fuck it. I'm going to go into what I thought of it. So, right from the very beginning, for me, it was obvious that we were not able to take from midfield, right? And we were not also able to protect that that defense. So not only is that midfield not supplying bullets for the top, for the three up top, but it's not also, as usual, not protecting that back four. We were dominated in midfield by Wolves. I repeat, Arsenal at the Emirates dominated, not for the first time, by a so-called lesser team. And these so-called lesser teams that we used to class as lesser teams are fast becoming teams on our level. That's the scary thing for me. So that's not only Wolves have dominated us in midfield and dominated us at home possession-wise. We had Villa before that as well. You can't even say that Villa sort of held on and nicked it. Leicester might have. But Villa and Wolves, Midlands teams, known as lesser clubs, are dominating us at home, and that's where I think they broke me last night. Xhaka clearly hasn't cut in, it hasn't quite cut it from the first time we bought him. Ceballos, jury's out. This is a player that's not making it of Madrid. So what the hell are we getting cast off? Willian the cast off. What is going on? And I'm going to start this, man. I'm going to go over. Shaheen, you can start it from where I've left off, what you saw. Yeah. But for me, it's already alarm bells.
It's been a decline over the years at Arsenal Football Club since Kroenke's arguably took over. But it has not been this low. And I just want to say something. It's not directly Mikel Arteta's fault, because somebody somewhere in this club thought this guy is good enough to come and manage Arsenal with no experience. I've said this about, 3 weeks ago? I said Arteta is not, he's out of his depth for this club. It's quite clear, and he's a yes man. He needs help. I don't see who's going to help him now with this situation, who's around him to give him guidance, to give him advice, that for somebody who's got no experience, to tell him, right, listen, man, this is what you need to do. This is what you need to do. Maybe play it safe for a few games. And he's just, listen, if he loses to Tottenham, right, he's a dead man walking. If he's not now. And it's not even his fault,
man.
Because you've got people in a club that, as I said, the passion is not there. The care, the interest, the love that we have, it's not there. They've gone for a guy who's is clearly a step up for him to come and manage Arsenal Football Club, and he's coming here. He hasn't worked out, and I don't really see where this is. Where the improvement will come from. Arteta is not helping the situation himself. When you come out and you say, right, the most creative player in the squad, I'm going to leave out for footballing reason and then play Joe Willock, who creates nothing, then you make it hard for fans to defend you. When you come out and you say, I'm going to change things, but the only thing that you really change is play Aubameyang on top, you make it hard for fans to defend you. When you keep playing Bellerin, who keeps making mistakes, you make it hard for fans to defend you. Xhaka, Arteta was promoted, let's say, into a new role, which is the manager. So his role is exactly the same role as Arsene Wenger. So he's involved in transfer business. He's involved in contract negotiations. He's pretty hands-on now in the club. So then you've got to then question him. Why did you go sign Willian? What does Willian bring to this team? I don't get it. And then you make substitutions. You take Willian off, who was having a semi-decent game for once, and you bring Nelson on, who can't even get a corner right.
Oh, don't even go on about Nelson, man.
That again is coming in because he's an inexperienced manager. So these are inexperienced moves that he's pulling. It's not his fault. He doesn't have the experience. And now,
but who's he got at his disposal as well? Who's he got at his disposal at the moment? I mean,
no. He had Guendouzi. He was shipped off for another reason. I think Guendouzi has done a job in the midfield now. Then we spent £30 million almost on a centre back who's deemed not good enough, and apparently they're sending him out on loan again. It's just there's too many things at Arsenal right now that don't make sense. This Ozil thing don't make sense. Saliba don't make sense. Guendouzi don't make sense. The transfer dealings don't make sense. I don't know if it's me.
Well, hold on to all of those because I want to delve into those a little bit. Yeah, so like we can't do it all in one hit. So just hold that ammo. But I'm going to take this over to Kesh as well. Kesh, welcome, bro. Obviously you're chomping at the bit to say your bit as well. You've heard what Shaheen's had to say so far. The best thing he said in all of it is something just doesn't make sense in this club. What's your thoughts, bro? What you saw yesterday and sort of things you've heard from Shaheen?
It hasn't made sense for numerous years now. For years it's been going on. I'm not surprised that all of a sudden Aubameyang's not scoring, we ain't performing. If you look back to when 2 games last season, we weren't playing well. Just a moment of brilliance from Aubameyang. And you can't expect your striker to continue doing that week in, week out. something needs to give. Like, I understand that Mikel is inexperienced, but I'll go back to saying it. If you got inexperienced manager, then you got to give him the tools that can help push him over that edge where he gets performances. And that comes down to some of the players. Like, if you looked at yesterday's game, these players are not capable of doing both jobs, going forward and protecting the back four, as you said.
No.
They're not capable of doing both. Numerous occasions I'm seeing Xhaka getting caught on the ball. If you're telling me that as a professional footballer, senior pro, who's been playing this game for numerous years, you should be getting caught on the ball in that fashion, then I don't know, football's done to me. That's what we're saying. Like, I feel we're spoon-feeding players too much in this era. Spoon-feeding them. We keep making excuses. I understand, yes, we're having to depend on the likes of Joe Willock. Like, if you go back to Wenger's years, how many of these players actually got into our first team? Like, you had the likes of Mark Randall. Those guys only ever saw game time play in the League Cup. And now we're having the likes to actually depend on Nelson, Willock, even Saka, as good as I think he can be and the potential he has. Did you watch a Man United game yesterday? Green was having a good game. They had a senior pro come on and change the game. Look at our bench. Who did we have to bring on? Now you see the likes of Partey is up, and you check the quality and the standards of the midfielders we got. We're having to depend on now a El Neni, a xhaka, a Dani Ceballos. Which three of those midfielders actually fills you with any optimism that they can go out there and play a forward pass that's going to pick Aubameyang out?
None of them.
And on occasion, he asks for our midfield to open up, play this creative, dynamic football. You saw what happened when Xhaka was on the edge of the Wolves box. They nicked it off him.
Yeah. Listen, I mean, I saw one that was a real defining thing for me. Says it all about our midfield, and someone dropped it in on Twitter. A little snip of our play. It was when Gabriel came out to intercept. Now, his mentality, if you look at him as a player, he is aggressive. He wants to go and win that ball, and he wants to drive. He come out, he won the ball, and xhaka knocked it 30 yards back to Leno. The minute he won possession. And that says enough for me. I mean, look, I want to go into in a bit more depth here, guys, because we can sit here all day long. There's accounts shouting left, right, and centre, Arteta out, this, that, and the other, right? This is 3 managers now. This is our 3rd manager with this same bunch of players, right? Insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. One constant is it has been there throughout all of this. This is a 15-year demise, guys. This isn't a couple of seasons or whatever. 15 years, yeah? Since we were convinced to move from Highbury, to go over to the Emirates, pay more money, leave our soul, leave our home, where all our legacy was built up. And for the last 10, 15 years, this board, under their stewardship, under their leadership, this club has gone sort of year upon year, has started to decline, right? Why? There's something not right. They're not doing something right at that upper level, right? They're not spending enough. They don't want to win enough. It doesn't matter to them enough. And you can keep changing that manager down below, but the people that they hire haven't been good enough. And then there's also other people like Mislintat and people like that leaving. How do you leave Borussia Dortmund, come to Arsenal, apparently one of Europe's elites, and then leave after 18 months because you don't believe in what they're doing? And then you look at our squad.
And the club that you went to.
Squad.
If you look at the club he's gone to, there was a League 2 in Germany. You're not going to leave the Arsenal. He left it for a reason.
There is nobody right now in this moment of time. There is nobody from the manager upwards that you can say, this guy is a footballing man. He knows Arsenal. He knows what is expected of a club like Arsenal, and he gets the fans. There's no one. Cronkies, they're on the different side of the world. They don't really understand English football, Premier League, the passion, what Arsenal is. It's just numbers. It's a business for them. As much as they want to come out and say, oh, it's a project to us, we care, we love it, And Edu is not a football man. Edu is an inexperienced director of football. And obviously, he hasn't been able
answering questions as he goes on as well, you know.
Yeah, you know, Edu is. You know what? If anything about Edu, if Arteta gets the chop, Edu and Vinay they need to be next and go with him because these Edu has been in an invincible team. He knows what it's about. He knows what is it like to play alongside a Patrick Vieira. He knows what is it like to have a Tony Adams and Martin Keown in the team, or a Thierry Henry and a Dennis Bergkamp. He knows how important the character is, the mentality. You know, he's been in winning teams, but because of the experience, and if you're a footballer, if you're a good footballer, Edu was a decent footballer, you know, it's not necessary that you become a great manager or a director of football. Arsene Wenger wasn't really a good footballer. Jose Mourinho, nothing. You know, so there is no experience in the board, manager, and above or on a footballing man to turn around and say, right, guys, this is how we're going to come out of this mess now. And you know what? For people who call in Arteta out, actually before that, I just want to say something that I forgot to say last time. I genuinely think that Arteta does not have the support of dressing room. I don't know whether they don't respect him because he's not experienced or because of the decisions he's made or whatever. Because to me, yesterday, these players were not playing for him. When you play for a manager, you go out there and you put everything you got, you leave it on the pitch and you come back. That did not happen yesterday. You know?
Do you know what, Shaheen? Can I just say something on that, bro? Can I just say something on that? Yeah, I don't mean to interrupt you, by the way. I'll let you go back, but 100% agree with you on this. We covered this a few weeks back, yeah, and people were laughing at us. There's something not right in that club right now. At some point, those players, their mentality shift, and I strongly believe it's this Ozil situation. I reckon it's split the team, it's split the squad because they're looking at it and they're thinking this is not a footballing decision. There's players that are much worse than him turning up playing every Saturday or Sunday. How is this man being left on the bench? It is purely a decision based on finance and marketing. It's China. China are spending 560 mil. We've done the research in a few weeks ago. They're spending 560 mil over 3 seasons to have Premier League. The minute Ozil said what he said, he was ousted from that team. They pulled the Arsenal games off their screens, and that's the problem. I think you've hit the nail on the head. Sorry, bro. Carry on.
It's all right. Yeah, so for me, that's the problem. The money that has been spent is spent in the wrong places because, again, you've got inexperienced recruitment team. They had their pants pulled down over Pepe, probably over Saliba.
Yes.
Money has been wasted. And now I see people in the comment how much we should give Arteta and this, that, the other. Now, this is a predicament. Are the owners and the board going to come and back Arteta in January, knowing that he's on thin ice? So if they're going to come and buy, Arteta says, I want Asamoah, for example, right? If they go and buy Asamoah, he comes in, things don't improve, and they have to end up sacking Arteta. Next manager comes, there's no funds. And we're already in.
Can I say something? But the thing
go on,
is,
Kesh.
That's where the confusion is, though, because first they hired a director of football, they've gone and sacked him. Now they've sacked Mislintat, who was meant to be the head of recruitment. He's gone. There's too much confusion going on. There's people that's not on the same wavelength as everyone, as a collective. So everyone's doing what they feel is good, and another person's going the next direction. So that's why it's not working.
Well,
in terms of signing players, a director of football signs players for the club, and not really necessarily for the manager. So it's not about the manager, next manager coming in. You've got to continue signing quality for the team. Like if you look at Kai Havertz, for instance, when Chelsea's been chasing him for about a year and a half. That wasn't Lampard signing. That was Chelsea signing.
Yeah. I hear that.
Players.
Arteta was recently promoted. He's involved in the recruitment now. He's the manager. He's not a first-team coach anymore. Mm-hmm. He's involved in the recruitment of players.
What's the point of being?
So
what's the point of being recruited? You can't recruit now, though. You can appoint him up. You can appoint him up. You do it during a time where he can't do anything. Is it in mind with January in mind to give him that chance? But you, Shaheen, you said something that made sense to me as well earlier on today. And Kesh, I'll put this to you as well. Shaheen was saying this, and you guys in the chat, we'll come to the chat in a minute after Kesh has his say. But Shaheen and I were talking earlier on, Kesh, and he said this, and it kind of made sense to me. Arteta is a better coach than Lampard. He has more in his locker as a coach, experience-wise. He's been with Pep for like, what, 3 years, whatever it is. He's learned as a coach than Lampard. The difference is Lampard's been backed. And like you rightly said, yeah, some of these signings weren't even his. But what they have done is they've gone out and they've got these guys, yeah? So he's got more to work with. So what do you think of that then? Yeah.
For me, it's ridiculous because I see a lot of fans saying, "Oh, he's a rookie." Yes, I get he's a rookie, but are you telling me 1 year at Derby and it makes a difference? But it doesn't make that much of a difference that Chelsea is being talked of as title challengers. His experience ain't that much. It's marginal. You know what I'm saying? So
look what they've got: Chilwell, what's it? Ziyech. Ziyech wanted to come to us. How many have they bought?
No, they bought Mendy, Werner, Ziyech, Chigwell, Havertz. That's 5 quality players.
Look at this. Look at this. They spent, 72 million on Kepa. It hasn't worked out. And they tried to give him a chance to save his career, and he just wasn't cutting it. And they said, you know what? We're going to have to go spend and buy another keeper. You won't see that happen at this club. You won't see that happen.
No. Not with these owners, you won't. Not with these owners, man. These owners don't care enough.
We've got players that we spend money on. Mustafi, £35 million plus his wages. He's working for free this summer. Socrates, salary plus fee, walking away for free. Ozil, fee, salary, walking away for free. Kolasinac probably less. Lacazette has got 18 months left on his contract. I would not be surprised if he's out and walks away for free for another payday. So these are the problem when I talk about poor recruitment on the board team. That you've got assets that you just letting them walk away. Ramsey, Sanchez, these are quality players who could get money from.
And another thing is, like, I know people say we spend, but I don't look at it that way, because when you look at the Xhaka and Kante situation, at the time, Kante's deal overall, like the signing on fee and that, equated to more than what Xhaka was taking as a signing on fee. And that's why they said, no, we're going to go for Xhaka, because they were saving themselves 5 to 10 mil rather than getting someone that's quality proven in the Premier League.
Granit Xhaka is not a bad player. He's not suited to the Premier League.
He's not suited to the Premier League. Yeah.
But he's not a bad player. He was smashing it in Germany when we bought him.
Nah, he wasn't smashing it. He wasn't
smashing it, but he was touted. He was touted for big things.
Granit Xhaka was getting red cards.
He's come here. He hasn't suited. We spend the money. The problem is, I have no problem with that. We tried something. He hasn't worked. Right. What do we do now? Sell him. Replace him. But no, we keep him. Offer him new deals. When he wants to leave, we'll beg him to stay. And then
we're not ruthless enough. We're not ruthless.
Exactly. It goes back to.
Can I say something on that? Right. The Xhaka situation. Yeah. Everyone keeps throwing that out recently. Why did he ask Xhaka to stay, etc.? Do you know why I think he asked Xhaka to stay? And I'm going to say it straight. Because he knew he weren't going to get both those midfielders. He knew he was going to be left short. So he had to find a way to keep Xhaka from leaving, because he wasn't confident they'll be able to find a replacement. And that's why I think he turned and went for Xhaka. If Partey was fit, I don't think Xhaka would start. It's as simple as that. But look, what we got to look at long ways is that he's inherited this shit, and these players aren't good enough. But before we go any further, mate, Shaheen, I want to go through some of these chats because there's loads of questions being asked, and I want to throw these questions out to us. So can you go through a few, please? Go back a bit.
Thank you very much. I know you call me Pablo, but I'll forgive you for this.
It's because you're scared of you. That's why. You're scared of you. Waffling there. Feet tight, and don't tell me I'm waffling, man. Give us some questions. The assembled. Shaheen, they understand business. This is the point. Something in mid-management hasn't been sorted out. Yeah, there's a mid-management issue. Beast tight, I'd like to know what I'm waffling on about. Chuck it in the chat, mate. What else is there?
Quite late. He joined quite late. He didn't even get a chance to start his job. Let's be honest.
Yeah. Crazy. Mishat, you got to ask yourself, Mislintat is used to being with a club that had limited funds in Borussia Dortmund, but they still managed to compete with the likes of Bayern Munich and people like that, and got to Europe, European Champions Leagues and stuff.
That Greek boy, I forgot his name.
Mavropanos.
Yeah, Mavropanos. So we're losing a fair bit of money.
Listen, the reason why he left as well, he just said, like, fair enough. It's football, so you got to look at stats as well. But you can't purely look at stats because stats lie. He's saying that I got to go. What his idea was, he uses stats because he had his own methods of using stats, but he also goes and watches the players. If you look at Mustafi, you look at xhaka, they were signed off that stat DNA shit. And that Spanish scout we had, he told Wenger that xhaka is not good enough. Mustafi shouldn't get signed. Perez is a championship player. We still went ahead and signed him because we're looking at stats. Stats don't tell the complete truth of a player.
No, I would have rather kept. You know, we sold Perez, right? I would have rather kept him. If you look at, he at least drove at players.
Henry, and you know what? That's one of the problems because you got people like those guys, not necessarily Perez, but Vieira, Adams, Keown. People who got characters. They got a bit about them. Not even one of them is involved in this football club.
And what I find annoying about our fans, does my head in. We think players. I don't know if it's our heart or we're just deluded, but we tell ourselves our players are better than what they are. I see a lot of fans saying Maitland-Niles is this, Maitland-Niles is that. Before Maitland-Niles, before lockdown, everyone wanted Maitland-Niles out. Come the end of lockdown, he had a good run of form. He had a good run of form. All of a sudden, Maitland-Niles is our saviour. Maitland-Niles is not good enough. A lot of our players are not good enough.
Yeah, but Chesh, if Maitland-Niles is not selling when Wolves came in for him, why keep him?
But I'm trying to tell you, the reason why they kept him though is because the valuation was too low because of his contract only having I think it was a year or two left on it, and they've seen that as we might as well sign him up. I wouldn't be surprised if come summer Maitland-Niles is not here because he's gonna have a new contract.
Hold on.
Demand 25 mil for it.
Are you telling me that Maitland-Niles hasn't performed when he's played for us? I must be missing something here, right? I'm not saying he's the best player in the world or whatever, but in
the game I remember him performing against was the Wolves, and leading up to the final, the 2 run of games against Man City and Liverpool. I don't remember him having any other games that have been great.
Bellerin. How many goals does Bellerin cost us? The Arsenal, the City game, the Liverpool game. He gets caught in behind. His delivery is poor. Talking of delivery, our delivery is poor. Full stop, man. Nelson's delivery. Nelson's not good enough. Willock's not good enough. It's like we've been caught in two minds. Are we going to go and invest in the future and we're going to have this self-sustaining model? We're going to move. It's going to bring us more money. But then at the same time, we're self-sustaining. So we've got to bring youngsters forward. What a pile of shit. We've been caught in between two, right? Not investing enough and apparently being self-sustaining. Our youngsters coming through are not cutting it. Willock, Nketiah, all these boys are not. They're not cutting it. Saka maybe will cut it.
I'm not saying he's not better than Bellerin, but I'm just trying to show you our fans flip-flop all the time.
Yeah.
Because we always say players are there, and then all of a sudden, yes, they've suddenly turned their future around. I heard fans saying the same thing about Xhaka because he looked a bit solid off the lockdown. Leopards don't change their spots. Leopards don't change their spots. I don't want to hear it all because of a good run of form. They're telling me this player's good now.
You know what? They could have the odd good game, but to have a consistency throughout the season, right? Let's look at it technically then, right? So we played just today. We meant to have xhaka, Ceballos, and Willock, right? Willock, Lundberg has already said he's a box-to-box midfielder. He's not a 10. And that's starting to look like he's probably right. And he wasn't even getting involved in the... Yeah, he's not a defensive. But he wasn't getting involved defensively either.
He's a box-to-box player, but you can't play him in a 2. It has to be as a 3. It has to be a 3.
Yeah. He's not disciplined enough. You're right.
Club like Arsenal Football Club, you can't have people like Willock, Nelson, and Nketiah. I'm not going to include Saka because Saka's done well. You can't rely on these guys to come. You can't take up Willian and bring Nelson on and hope for things to change. There are expectations at Arsenal Football Club. There are pressure. These boys, they need to go somewhere else, learn, play for a whole season. Listen, remember Nketiah went to Leeds, he couldn't get a game. Right?
That's a big point. That's a big point.
These boys need to go out there, play for a whole season, week in, week out, learn, then come back and try to... Now, Well, what are they learning? Who they learning? What, Willian? What's Nelson going to learn off Willian? You know, and
The standards have dropped, haven't they?
Look at the contrast here. Look at the contrast. When we was winning, we had players who was strong, dominant, all-round footballers. Even when we weren't winning anything in the early 2000s, we then changed because Wenger changed it to more technical, gifted players. What players in this squad you can look at and say they're technically gifted? Tell me.
Very small, a handful. I would say, you know what? The most technically gifted player in our squad is Ozil.
There you go.
I'm gonna say
and now.
I'm not saying he should be playing. I'm just saying that it's the truth.
And now look, how many of these players would you say is world class? And we're looking to throw the likes of Saka, Martinelli, Gabriel, who's played roughly 80-something games in his senior career, and think we're gonna do something magnificent. Like we're looking to throw a bunch of youngsters amongst one world-class player, and I don't even think Aubameyang is world-class finisher. I don't think he's a world-class player. So where do we expect to get with this?
Well, listen, it's not going to get anywhere whilst we have a fundamental issue, right? Before, like you mentioned, the teams of old, Kesh, you were saying in particular, even with our frailties at the back, the one thing we had was a midfield. They could keep the ball, they could dictate, and they could create. We never had an issue creating opportunities. We never had an issue dictating a game. Sometimes we dictate 70-80% possession and still lose because we had frailty. But we had that. Now we have no heart in a team. We have got a front line. We've got a better defense. We've got no midfield. None at all. Xhaka drops too deep. He basically... You're meant to be the midfield general. That's meant to be you know what it's like, Kesh, as a footballer. Midfield, you start off in your centre midfield. You're like, this is my territory, this is my patch. I'm winning this. Yes, that's the mentality you have. You don't see that with our team. You don't. Xhaka drops back further and further because he knows he can't keep up with play. He knows he can't keep up with the breakaways. He sits deep.
You know what makes me laugh? I was in bed, I think, 2 days ago, and I was thinking about Xhaka, just thinking about games over my head. Bro, he's the only midfielder I see in the Prem who's on the ball and falls over all the time just to get a free kick to relieve pressure. All the time. He doesn't want to play. As soon as he gets the ball, if a man's on him, he looks for the foul. Where are you getting with that? Of
course he does. You know why? Because his legs are not quick enough. He's not mobile enough.
We don't really have anybody on our midfield who get the ball and drive at teams, get the ball and travel with it. We don't really have that. We just pass around, play around. And look, as I was saying earlier, this is a problem at the club because we've got a squad that is not good enough. And there is an argument here that this team, similar sort of players, are now worse under Arteta's management than Unai Emery. Because at least under Unai Emery, I remember we were attacking, the defense was a problem, we were giving up chance. Now, we can't attack, we can't defend. Aubameyang is a top player, right? You can't play Aubameyang up front with nobody feeding him. Then what's going to happen? He's just going to be isolated. And he looks frustrated, he looked fed up. I even dare say he looked lacking confidence.
Yeah,
you know. Then you've got
look, Aubameyang is lacking confidence, 100%.
He is 100%, 100%.
Everybody was next year and right, and like I said, they've done okay over this. Now he comes on and he doesn't look anything like the player that we signed. And this is interesting.
Is it a coincidence though? Is it a coincidence? All of our strike line, all of our front line are not performing. Pepe, Lacazette, Aubameyang. Willian.
Yeah, but it's not just this season.
It's not be a connection.
It's not just this season though. The only person that was performing last season was Aubameyang. The front four. That's the only person that was performing.
Yeah, but like you said, he was finishing everything. He had a clinical spell. Yeah.
Remember last season, everybody was saying where we would have been without Aubameyang's goals, and now that's dried up and it's now clear.
Now we're finding out.
And the only reason why we're lucky this season is because the teams at the bottom of relegation are just not good enough. Otherwise, I guarantee we would be in a relegation battle this year. We're fortunate that you got the likes of Fulham and that down there.
Well, there's some questions in here as well, like, and I'd like to throw out to you boys. Yeah. So, how long do we give Arteta? Is a first question. And you know, I'm sitting here. I think he should have time, but at the same time, I'm not stupid. I'm not deluded. Yeah, I know. I sit here and you ask me if we're going to win the next 5 games or give predictions. I'm giving you 5 wins because that's just me. I'm an Arsenal fan, and I don't want to even think about us losing. But I'm not stupid, right? So at the end of the day, being realistic, I know that there's going to be a point of no return. Now, unless we back him in January, there is going to be no point in return. If we lose against Spurs, is he out? I'll throw that at you guys. Kesh, you can go first, man.
I'm really going to say no because I'm not going to be reactionary. As I said, like, I personally feel he hasn't got the tools capable of doing any better with this team. Like, on the terrace, we ranked the Premier League midfielders, and Arsenal came in at 11th. Like, there's no coincidence that we finished last season 8th. The other teams have improved. They look a lot better. This season, I can only see... I didn't predict the top 4. So 5th or below that, it really doesn't matter. There's no difference in me. I can only see us finishing, about 10th this season. Probably a drop 1 place down. In terms of the North London derby, it's a derby, innit? We all know things can happen. But if we're being realistic, Tottenham should come out and spank us.
I can't even say that sentence, Kesh. I'm not even going to say that sentence, man.
Listen, it's the rub of the green, man. The way we're playing, I don't see us miraculously coming up with a performance.
Well, we do it in cups.
I was saying to my friend, right now, the form we're in, we could do with Oliver Giroud and lumping it up to him. We could do with a different style of play right now. This is how drastic it is. This is how drastic it is.
Well, we were saying as well, Cavani. Man United went out and got Cavani, and he's doing a job for them. Well, yet we're playing Nketiah. Sorry, Shaheen, go ahead, man.
I just want to say, first of all, just thank you for everybody who given us their time watching. Please hit the like button. I want to give a shout out to a couple of people. Mr. Arsenal podcast. These guys, they do good shows. Go follow them. Give them a watch. Arsenal fan circle, guys. Thank you for watching. Good podcast. Give them. Why not sentiment? I'm still waiting for you to message Lev on Instagram. So
man.
Do that.
Where's my message, man?
Yeah, and just hit the like button. Look, I don't have the confidence in the board to sack him and sack him at the right time.
They won't.
Right? Because if they sack Arteta, there is going to be questions that, hold on, so who gave Arteta the job in the first place? That will be Edu and Vinay, so they need to go as well. So in order for the whole thing to be protected, they need to keep him in a way. And then another thing, even if they do sack him, right? Then I don't have any confidence in them to bring in a good manager.
That's why they won't sack him though, because they're going to want to go with another left wing appointment rather than a right.
Well, it's going to be another Arteta-esque, a yes man who will come in, because they're not going to be able to offer the big managers the money that they want in order to spend on the squad, because this squad needs wholesale change, right? And the board, they're not going to spend that. Everybody in the footballing world knows that this board is not going to come up with money. You have to sell to get players, and then you've got Aubameyang, who's towards the end of his career, Willian end of his career, Ozil situation. Mustafi is leaving, Socrates is leaving, you've got Saliba who can't get again. It's not really, it's a tough job, man. I don't see a lot of people who risk their reputation to come in with no money, try to do a job. So it's not, Arsenal is a big football club, but this is not an attractive job. Make no mistake about it.
From it.
What's happened to the money? Right, I'm going to ask Arsenal, what's happened to the money?
It's been spent in the wrong places. When you go out, when you spend 70 million on someone like Pepe, right? Then you spend 30 million on Saliba, right? That's 100 million pounds, yeah, gone. And then you go Thomas Partey, 45 million. They had to cough that up in one go. David Luiz, 8 million. right? We're not getting the Champions League money anymore, right? We still have players on high salary. The COVID situation, it will take its effect to a certain degree. I know there's an argument that, but other clubs, Tottenham and this and that, but Tottenham don't have anybody on £350,000 a week, right? So
but
then you got
the players are cheaper now. Players are cheaper now. We should have money in reserves. We should have money. I don't
you
care.
have money, but
I
it's
think-
not spent properly. If that £100 million was spent in the right, imagine with that £100 million we went out there and we said, right, listen, £50 million there with Upamecano, come in. So instead of David
That's
Luiz,
not a lot in today's market, man. That's not a lot in today's market either.
Huh?
That's not a lot in today's market either. It's not a lot of money, 50 million.
I'm talking about 2 years ago. Right?
I think
Then you still got £50 million, right, to go out there and buy a midfielder. I can see on the comment the Arsenal fan circle guys, they put in that we spend on Tierney and Gabriel as well, which okay, fair enough. That has been spent in the right place. But majority of the money has not been spent in a correct way. Raul, I believe Raul got sacked because there was some dodgy dealing with Pepe thing and with this 10 million.
100%. I would have gone Zaha over Pepe personally. It's the type of mentality we get in. We're not getting the right mentality players in. I mean, Zaha, don't get me wrong, you can see the talent, but he's not ready, is he?
No, I wouldn't have got either of them. Listen, I think where we've messed up is like for years we had a respectable wage structure and we've absolutely just dismantled it, and now we're in a situation where we're struggling to come back from that.
It's changed, bro. Yeah, we have not changed with it, right? Yes,
we never do.
When we were building the Emirates, right, there was no, Roman Abramovich, these Arab dudes from UAE, they were not about. They come in, boom, spend the money, everything that was gone up. We're still trying to penny pinch and this and that, the other. And I'll tell you something else as well. Until these cronkies fuck off, right, it's going to be the same thing because they're not really bothered about, they're not really monitoring the club. Daniel, you see that documentary about Tottenham? Daniel Levy is on the training ground every day, having tea, seeing the players, what's occurring, this, what's going on. These guys, they're in America trying to manage things, and they put people who are inexperienced to run a massive football club like Arsenal Football Club.
It's ridiculous. Honestly,
what do you think is the outcome? Exactly what we're seeing right now, and this is going to carry on. If Arteta lose, I'll probably give him until end of the year, right? And then afterwards, if things don't improve, then you really got to look at him. But then again, you go back to the situation. If they have the bottle to get rid of him, which I don't think they have, then you've got to look at people who put him there in the first place, and then you've got to see who's going to come and do the job that we need.
Shaheen, hold on, right? This is my problem with a lot of the fans, though. This is a problem with a lot of fans. First, a couple of things I want to address in the chat, yeah? AQ, no, I would not have Wenger back. Him staying 10 years too long has contributed to this issue. Beast Titan, Zaha over Pepe. You Mike, are you mad? Have you seen Zaha play? Have you seen him? He's Premiership ready. No, listen, he causes more problems than Pepe, man. I don't give a shit. And every time he played against us, he ripped us a new arsehole. He rips us a new arsehole. So I don't care. I'm going to stand by that. But this is where I'm going to go with this. If Virgin tomorrow collapsed, who would be at fault for that? If, I don't know, M&S or John Lewis or Peter Jones or any huge company goes down, you look at the man that owns the business. You don't go and sack the manager who runs the shop, do you? Right? So you could keep changing the shop manager as much as you want. You can keep changing him all day long, but it ain't going to change anything until the guys change their philosophy. It's been shit rolls downhill, right? If you look at the performances on the pitch, that is not a team that gets a message from the board up there saying this is unacceptable. You better be fucking winning or you're out of here. See them when Chelsea buy players, yeah, and you got someone like Abramovich who's put his hard-earned money in or his dodgy-earned money in. The same with the guys from Man City. Them boys on the pitch know they got to perform. They know the standard that's required, and there's no ifs, no buts. And they would not have months on end to just or season upon season not delivering. They get shipped out. The message from
the Cronkies
ruthless enough. That's the fact.
They got too much conflict of interest. Like if you look at
You know what Arsenal
what
need?
team they got.
You know what Arsenal need? Arsenal needs somebody with the characteristic of Donald Trump to come in.
I
Who
said,
don't pay no shit to nobody. I don't know Donald Trump, but he's a good businessman. If he comes to Arsenal,
Beast.
there's going to be heads will roll. There's going to be expectations. People
Oh.
need things, and there is nobody that is ruthless and demands results at this club right now. Everybody's just dragging along. It's all good. It's cushy. Yeah, all right. It's all right. We'll finish 8th. No problem. We'll go again. And no, man. We need results here. Look how everybody's moving. But we're not. We're still stuck. Pissing about over
It's because old cronies don't want to let go, do they? They're old school and football don't mean anything to them, man.
yeah.
Look at TV, he cares. Look at Abramovich, he's like a kid with a toy that he wants to have the best toy every year because he's just that sort of arrogant guy that wants to win everything. Same with the Monsters, same with Usmanov if we had him. What did we get?
Even the Leeds,
Wig-wearing Walmart owner. What we got?
What's happened?
I don't know. What's happened?
The character. You see, it's not. I'm not saying Donald Trump. I'm saying the character of the Donald Trump. He's just somebody like Abramovich. Bro,
Oh my God, you take it there.
Ruthless. It's just ruthless, isn't it? He's ruthless.
You win the
Trump,
league.
another wig wearer.
So we don't have that at Arsenal. You can finish fucking 8th. And they'll promote you to become a manager, get you involved in a thing. It's not his fault. He's not going to say no to that. When he's sitting next to Pep, you know, this fucking clown, what's his name? Vinay. He's gone to his house 12 o'clock at night, telling him, come and become the Arsenal manager. He's not going to say no to that. The problem is for people who thought that out of Allegri, Pochettino, possibly Mourinho, these guys, Enrique, Arteta was the choice. That is the problem at Arsenal. The problem
Because
is
no one else will come. They won't come. Allegri won't come. Mourinho won't come. All these top managers won't come. You know why? Because they come and they look at the budget and it's useless.
Yeah, because they're not yet. Mourinho comes to Emirates to watch a game with Raul. What do you think he's there for? They're having a chat, obviously, about the job. Mourinho is asking, you know what, fine. Bro, how much you coughing up? Because this team is shit.
Mm-hmm.
Right? He's telling him, oh, bro, listen, you got to sell some players and then maybe we can go to Kroenke, get you another £40 million. So you're looking at about 80. Mourinho is telling him, fuck off, I'm not doing this for nothing. 80 million. You need a lot more than that in this shit show that you see. You see when they sacked Emery, they left it so late. And then they put Ljungberg in charge. For what? I don't know. If you want Arteta, just go get Arteta. So it means they're doing something that hasn't worked, but they go under Arteta.
Cheapskates. That's all it comes down to. Honestly.
And that's it. You know, this is going to carry on and on and on until it's going to get. Now we're going to go to these fucking pricks down the road over the weekend, and we're probably going to get another battering in there.
But the only reason why it's continuing is because certain fans who focus in the energy, the wrong sort of energy, on the wrong people. You're focusing the energy on the manager as if he hires himself, and then you're saying, no, it's not Kroenke's fault, he's provided the money. It's beyond providing money. It's about decision making. And he doesn't make the right decision.
Yeah, listen, Kesh, you're 100%, man. When you watch that documentary, we keep harping on about it, but I lost count of the amounts I've seen where Levy goes sits with Mourinho and goes, what's going on? What about this? What about that? Should we go and do this? He's so hands-on. He knows everything that's happening in that club. He's spending the money. Fair enough. He wants to know where it's going. But at least he gives a shit. The guys we got at the top aren't doing it. I mean, Beast was saying here, oh, you change the manager in a shop, then he's the front man for the customers, etc. What if you've got no one giving you the stock to sell, Beast? What if you've got no one who owns that business, the guy who owns it, not giving you the funds to stock? Then what are you going to sell? You're going to sell shit. It's as simple as that. I want to look at. Go on, Kesh.
It's clear that the decisions are being made wrong because you've hired how many people in the backroom staff over the last year or two, and 2 of them's already gone out the door. So now if this goes wrong, then you're gonna see Edu's gone out the door. It's just a revolving door. That's all it is.
It's loads of them. It's loads of them. It's scouts. It's chief scouts. It's people on the board. I mean, you mentioned how many people are leaving. There's something not right in that club, and I think it goes a bit higher than that. I want to look at some of the chats, Shaheen. Ben Davies. Oh man, I knew our paths would meet, bro. How you doing? It's Lee. I know it's you, bro. How you doing? Spurs fan. He's already laughing at us. Albert JTV. Arsenal said that Max Allegri was too. Why? Because he asked for more than they were willing to give. Arrogant. More. He was asking for more than they were willing to give, aka arrogant. That's bullshit. That's just another way of like saying we're not willing to work with him. Gunner 10, you're missing the point. Managing is not for Arteta. He hasn't got a clue. Pep had him putting out cones for fuck's sake, and now he's a I hate this term. Oh, he's a cone. You know, come on. You don't get to coach top Premier League players just because you put out cones. Let's at least have a proper discussion. Zipped out. I'm okay with a revolving door. Get them out until we find the best ones. What is the point of getting them getting new ones in if people aren't giving you the money?
We might as well just fucking fold the club then. If that's the case.
Would you send your son out or your child or your mate out to go and buy you something with no money, and then when he comes back with nothing, you send him back out again and he keeps coming back? That's ridiculous. Arsenal Fan Circle channel. Great chat, guys. Arteta is a great coach, but not a very good manager. Is it managing? Is the issue? Emery was listen, I'll throw this back out. Emery was meant to be an experienced manager. Was he getting much different out of these guys? Is it management or is it just the personnel? He doesn't have the people there to carry out what he's asking them to do. He don't have it.
Emery would have got a lot more sympathy from fans if he came out and out of the board about the Partey, the Pepe situation. And obviously, no manager's going to do that while they're in a job unless you're Mourinho. Arteta's not going to come out and say, I see fans saying, but he said he got back though. He said he got back. He's trying to keep the harmony in the team, in the club. He's worked so hard to what he came in. He's trying to keep the harmony. He's not going to come out and say, oh, they didn't get me this, they didn't get me that.
No, but apparently Emery was asking for players. He was asking for Fabinho, and then they didn't give him what he wanted. Look, Unai Emery has got a fantastic CV. You know, you can't deny that. He's got experience. He's come in, and he didn't work out for him for whatever reasons. Then they've gone with somebody like Arteta. My point is, there is somebody somewhere at Arsenal Football Club who's making these decisions. And until these guys are there making these sort of decisions, nothing will change. Because Arteta will go, I don't know, Eddie Howe will come in, or another Arteta-esque type manager will come in. It's going to be the same thing. Same thing.
Same shit.
It's just same shit. Over. Until these guys pull their finger out and get somebody on the board and a recruitment team who understands football and he understands Arsenal Football Club. What is Arsenal Football Club? What is expected of Arsenal Football Club? Until then, it's just the same thing. It's just going to go over and over again.
The owners don't think like that. The owners don't think like that. So why should anyone else think like that? The owners don't go, this is Arsenal Football Club. I've bought a prestige. Do you know what the worst thing for me is?
That's why they need to sell and fuck off. Because
this is what you need to realise. One second, they've taken over at a time where our legacy was strong. Our history was strong. The fans that had grown up, the younger fans. The fans in Africa, on the continent, all these kids that were growing up watching Henry's, Vieira's, Bergkamp's, all these, they're the fans of today, right? So that's our legacy, yeah? So right now, they've profited off our legacy. But what you've got to realise, especially these, and this is where I really doubt they understand the Premier League, the football, the history of the club and everything, right? If you're not making new legacies, if you're not making new histories, that 8-year-old kid now, he's not watching Arsenal, he's watching Man City, he's watching Chelsea, he's watching other teams. And when he grows up when he's 15, 20, he's going to be a fan of one of them, right? So you could sit there saving your money up there on the board, in the board, and shortchanging us as a club and charging us ridiculous amounts of money and telling us we're going to move and it's going to compete. You can keep shortchanging us and pocketing that money and building other stadiums. But when in the next 10 years, our legacy is going to drop and no one's going to be supporting Arsenal to the lengths we're being supported now. And that's my issue. It's a results business and we're not getting results. Kesh, sorry, bro.
No. I wasn't even going to say anything. Actually, I was about the Vieira thing. Like, they would never hire an ex-legend. They would never do it because Vieira wouldn't stand for this shit.
Cash. Hold on, I just want to. What the fuck has this got to do with AFTV, man? Why are you?
I'm sick of this, man. They can only report what these twats at board level were doing, yeah? If we were winning every week and we were all sitting here doing podcasts saying how great we were, no one would be complaining. This ain't AFTV. This ain't us as fans or accounts or this or that. It's the board. It's the problem is the same constant that has been for the last 10, 15 years. If you've got a big account with 50,000 subscribers or whatever, and you're an Arsenal fan, switch your efforts and focus your efforts on the club and do what's best for the club. Supporters should come together and do this. The problem is the board. Sorry, Kesh, you were saying, bro.
Yeah, no, hold on. Yeah, I was just saying, man, I don't think a club legend will ever take this job. I see people saying Vieira, but that would never happen because Vieira wouldn't stand for it. Like, he would help them while in the job.
Do you know what? All our winners from our past, all our legends are out of that club. The majority have been ripped out from the get-go, right? Patrick Vieira ended up at City, one of our rivals. Our club captain ended up at City, not in our club, telling our new youngsters, the midfielders that are coming up, this is what you need to be an Arsenal great. This is what you need to be a great midfielder. He's playing his trade elsewhere. Adams, one of the best centre-backs. Sol Campbell, one of the best centre-backs we've had. None of them are embedded in that club. It's all yes men. That's what I'm starting to see now. Arteta, I can't blame because he took the job because, mate, if someone says to me tomorrow, do you want this opportunity? You've never had it before, but it's a dream of yours. Am I going to turn it down worrying about what everyone else is going to think? No, he took that job on. He took it on. At least he had the balls to take it on. But with it, what he hasn't realised, which he's probably realising now, it comes with a caveat. That caveat is you don't speak up against us. I don't believe for a minute that Ozil decision was his, but he took it. And I think they're starting to dismantle him a little bit and turn him into a yes man. I'm really worried about it.
Not only he took it, he came out publicly and he said, it's my decision, it's my responsibility, and he's out for footballing reasons. So then you've got to question that. So you think Joe Willock is better than fucking Ozil? So this is why, this is exactly, Arteta is a yes man.
We just have to use our common sense, though. Like, we can say he's a yes man, but I'm sure he didn't come into the job thinking it's going to be like that. I'm sure he came into the job looking at what they've told him, and he thought this is going to be a turnaround.
You see this guy, he represents a growing number of fans. Bezos edits Arteta out. There's a growing number of fans who keep saying Arteta out. And you know what? It's very hard to defend Arteta against that. Because yes, we can all go and say, right, listen, somebody put him there in the first place. But he, as a manager, is also making mistakes. He's making bad decisions. There's not level playing field for players. Some are getting disciplined more than the others. And it's just becoming a situation where you think, oh, you know what? Arteta is not his fault. You know, this isn't that. But we just need to bring the situation to an end for the good of Arsenal Football Club. Move him on and get somebody in who can do a job. And I don't have, again, confidence in these guys who have the bottle to actually do that. Because if they do that, I will be the first person and say that Edu and Vina, they need to fuck off with him. Because these are the guys who thought he's good enough to do a job. So if that's your standard and your expectation of Arsenal Football Club, then you can fuck off as well.
True.
Boy, Shaheen's pissed. Pablo's pissed, man. That's what happened.
Listen, I grew up watching Invincible. I grew up watching people like Patrick Vieira dominating everybody, home and away. I grew up watching people like Thierry-Henry. I grew up when Arsenal was Arsenal Football Club. When I used to go to school and cuss, man. When I used to go to school and tell everybody, oh, your team is shit. We were playing Champions League. We were beating fucking Real Madrid at the Bernabeu. We were battering AC Milan and Inter Milan away. We used to go out. We were named, man. Arsenal. As soon as somebody was linked with Arsenal, it was like, oh, I want to go to that club. Arsene Wenger and all of those things. Look at what I'm used to and grew up with, and look what's happening now. And I'm not going to take that because I love this club. I love this club. And people who know me, they try to wind me up. Oh, your club is this and that because they know it upsets me, right? And that is not on. That is not acceptable. I'll go to fucking club level, right? And I'll pay a lot of money to watch games, to watch shit like this, and then for the club to come out and say, "Now, we don't have money to spend." Fucking charging £15 for a burger, chips, and a drink, and now we got no money to spend.
No, only make loan signings. Big Arsenal, Arsenal Football Club can only make loan signings. Taking a fucking.
We've become a laughing stock. Under this stewardship, we've become a laughing stock, and that's the issue for me. Some people in here, if we can look at some of the stuff that's being said in the chat, some people were saying we spent more money than others, which is probably true. But again, it's been spent on the. People say give or take. Did people give Angelotti? What was that? Angelotti time. Well, here we go. Zip down. Give me some time to read these, Shaheen. And I still wanted him out at the end. I'll tell you what, I'm scared my 2-year-old son is going to grow up wanting to support. I'm not even going to say that. Let's move on, old school Gooner. I'm not even saying that. Listen, the problem is until we get them boys out of our club at the very top who really don't understand what it means to be an Arsenal fan or be Arsenal itself, we're going to keep getting the same shit. We've got huge accounts sitting there wanting a my man out, get this person out. How many more do you want? How many more do you want? Should we stick in? You think it's going to make any difference with Ancelotti there? Ancelotti is at Everton and he's struggling. He's not smashing it up at Everton. You know, what do you want? Unless we have some... Do you know what? I'm going to say it. I want us to be sold to some nasty, greedy, egotistical owner who expects nothing less than winning. That is it. Mm-hmm. If we're going to be owned, and that's the way football's gone now, and I hate it, it's ripped the soul out of football. We've sold our soul to Sky Sports, we've sold our soul to marketing, we've sold our soul to Chinese channels and investments, we've sold our soul to owners. We might as well sell our soul because we've already done it anyway. We've sold it to a Walmart owner who don't care. So you might as well sell it to someone who does care and is an arrogant individual who just wants to whip his table and say mine's the biggest. We might as well just do that if we're going to be owned. Sorry, guys. I'm just a bit pissed off about all of this.
Just one thing left before you go. I just want to remind everybody we've got a Wednesday show. Our real talk with Lee Judges in Turkish. It's going to be on 6:30 this Wednesday. So put your reminders on that. Come on, it's going to be a lively show. I'll guarantee you.
It's pretty lively. I'm surprised at the numbers today. I mean, it's like we started early. We've nearly got about 80 people.
You know what?
Go on.
I want Osman to come out and actually tell the fans what's really going on.
He will.
That's the ideal person that needs to come out and tell us what's going on.
Once he leaves, he's going to come out and he will tell people exactly what's been occurring. And I'll tell you, a lot of people will look shit after that.
You know, like AQ is saying, the FSG model is there to be followed. All it takes the right. Listen, we've learned that this so-called model and these financial fair plays and all of that, everyone is finding loopholes. Everyone is finding loopholes. You know why? Because they give a shit enough to, and they just want to win, and they don't care how they're going to do it. We're sitting there trying to like play up to financial fair play and all this stuff, all these plans that sound like airy fairy brilliant when Wenger first introduced them to us. They've gone down the pan. No one cares about this stuff. There's loopholes for everything.
It would have worked at the time, but football changed, and we're still sticking to those plans.
Can I answer AQ?
Go for it. Go for it.
AQ, can you get that up? AQ's comment about the FSG model.
Yeah. That's what I was talking about as well. Yeah.
The thing with the SSG model, everything has to work to perfection. Your recruitment has to be good. Because let's face it, if they didn't get that Coutinho money, I don't think Liverpool would have advanced the way they are now. So your recruitment has to be good to make a profit off your assets. Our assets depreciate as soon as we get them because we don't recruit properly. We buy players who's probably not black and white that they're going to come and be a success. So where do we go from there if we're losing money?
It worked because of the sale of Philip Coutinho. At the back of that, they bought Virgil van Dijk and Alisson to a team that was already a decent team. We're not that decent team, and we don't have any player that we can get rid of for that sort of money. So then even if we do have the board who've got the know-how to spend it in the right place. So That for me is a big problem. Huh?
Shaheen, can you bring up Hambo Gumble? Hambo Gumble. Thank you for joining us, bro. You're a new name I've not seen for since we've been doing this. If you have been on here, I do apologize. I've not seen you before. Gents, I'm of an older vintage, so I grew up watching Rocastle, Adams, Winterburn. Not as technically advanced compared to the Wenger teams, but they put everything into 90 minutes. Listen, Hambo, I grew up as an Arsenal fan, Highbury. I even went and got myself a little part-time job as a youngster to be a steward, so I could sneak into these games after everyone was in and safe. I'm not saying that I put everyone in danger, but I used to take off the steward's outfit and go and sneak in as a young teenager to be close to these guys. I know these guys. And as you say, technically not as up to scratch. Listen, Rocastle was technically as on point as any of these guys. Maybe the fitness levels have changed, but these guys were winners. That's the difference. It was the mentality. They were winners. They didn't want to lose, right? And we don't buy players like that. Tell me the last time. I mean, recent acquisitions. Gabriel, I like him a lot. Partey, once he's fit, I'm convinced. Tierney, yes. I think with the right team around him, I'm convinced. But too many players that are weak-willed. Bellerin is one of them. I mean, he was high-fiving a Wolves player in the tunnel before the game started. Like, could you imagine Tony Adams? Could you imagine Tony Adams high-fiving someone in? Do you know what used to go on in those tunnels before the games? Bullshit, man. Bullshit. Oh
Bro,
my god!
I saw a clip from back in the day where it was Neville versus Neville. They didn't even say hi to each other. I saw a clip when Peter Schmeichel moved to, I think, was it City that he moved to? Neville didn't say hi to him. Like, there's no time for friends until after the game. I don't want to see you being all friendly and anything. Like, you get your game face on and you go to battle. That's what it is. And a lot of these players, they get out their skin when we're losing. Like you saw with Bellerin trying to fight and but you don't show that fight during the game.
No, they don't. They don't show that fight at all. It's not naturally in them, is it? It's not naturally in them. But my point with the Arteta situation, we can listen. How many does he get rid of? Really and truthfully, how many of his own players have been bought in, and how many does he have to get rid of? And are we being fair by saying he needs to get out? He needs to get out. I mean, these players are not doing it. They haven't done it.
You know what the thing is, though? We haven't weighed up. Like, we signed Partey, but he's played 2 games. And if you look at the team, even before Arteta came in last year, when Emery had the likes of Ceballos and xhaka, I still thought the team was shit then. Its team has now regressed, and we still got that same midfielders minus a Partey. So we've been performing with only one signing, which is Gabriel.
Yeah. Yes. 100%. We've been performing. This is what I'm trying to say to everyone. We could sit here and we can go at Arteta all day long, but what have we given him that's different from last season? What have we given him? We've given him Gabriel. All right, we had Tierney already. Giving him Gabriel, we're giving him Partey. Partey's injured, so he's got one man that's the difference, and you can see a difference with him in
We've given him Cedric, Mari, Saliba.
Mari is injured. Cedric is a midget.
Playing. Like, that's the thing we need to focus on. We need to focus on improving this first 11. It's not so much a thing where we need to look at immediately of the overall squad. It's the first 11 that we need to improve. When you looked at Liverpool, when Klopp first came, he weren't buying players to sit on the bench. He was buying players that's going to come straight into his first team.
Yeah. You see, that's the list. Except Partey and Gabriel, the rest are average at best.
Yeah, Mari was a strange one, but let's just say, okay, maybe, you know what? He had a good season at Flamengo. He looks like a 6'4" beast, maybe you could say, but he's injured, right?
Is Ceballos any better than Wilshere?
You've got
to any better than Wilshere. He's not.
No, hold on. Wilshere, you can't even. Wilshere was a better player than Ceballos. If Wilshere didn't have his injuries, Wilshere wouldn't even get in. Ceballos wouldn't get anywhere near the team. Wilshere was 10 times the player Ceballos is on that ball. We ruined Wilshere. I'll be honest with you, right? Forget that. Technically, Wilshere on another level to Ceballos. I wouldn't see Ceballos at 18 dominating a Barcelona team from midfield. No chance, right? Ceballos is a fringe player at Madrid. He You can't have fringe players being in the Arsenal midfield. You need the best players in midfield. What are we doing? Xhaka is... I've seen Milk turn quicker than Xhaka, right? And he's in the Prem. He cuts it in Serie A, he cuts it in the German league. He doesn't cut it in the Premier League. He needs to go. Ceballos is a French player, needs to go. Willock is not good enough. Nelson is not good enough. And Nketiah is not good enough. These players are not of Arsenal level. That is the fact. So what has he got to work with? He hasn't got the youngsters coming through at a great rate. And he doesn't have anyone else that's being brought in that can go straight in other than Gabriel. Kesh is right.
Yeah. Unfortunately, it goes again back to poor recruitment, poor owners, unambitious, not a lot of funds available. Anyway, guys, please hit the like button. I know. Thank you for all of you watching. Don't forget Wednesday we've got League Judges and Turkish 6:30. I just wanted to remind you that. And just don't forget hitting the like button.
Yeah. No, I get so wound up and hyped up. And I know you keep having a go at me, Shaheen. I need to remind everyone, yeah, smash those likes, yeah. Turn those notifications on. If you haven't subscribed already, subscribe. If your friends, pass it on, share it. We're trying to grow this. The content's only going to get better, guys. Listen, we can go on all day long, man. I'm pissed. I'm not going to lie, I'm pissed off. But look, I just wanted to come out and get my part out there. I think as a fan base, we need to be united. We need to stop all this bullshit about accounts and trying to prove that you're a bigger fan because you know more or you guessed something or you predicted something. It's not about that. It's not about that. This is far bigger than your account or my account or your channel. This is about your club, right? There's a fundamental issue and you need it sorted. If you're going to sort it out, we've got to turn our eyes into the right area. We've got to look at that board. We've got to ask them what the F is going on, because they have screwed everything up for the last 10 years and it's only getting worse, right? So if you're going to do something about it, I say focus out there. Kesh, you got anything else you want to add before you go, bro?
Cronky, get the fuck out.
Yes,
simple as that.
Yeah.
Really.
Listen, Shaheen, you got any last final messages?
No, man. Just please, obviously, don't forget Wednesday, because it's going to be a good one with Lee and Turkish. It's going to be a lot of heat going around there, so make sure you tune in and you watch that show. Last time, that show is becoming a big thing, Lev. I don't know if you noticed or not, but last week we had just under 9,000 views on it. The week before that, 9,500 views. So, Pete, thank you very much, guys, for supporting us.
Yeah, massive.
So just turn on and watch it. We're glad we're giving you something. At the end of the day, we're all part of a club. And we all want
this is it.
This club to do well.
Yeah, this is it, guys. Listen, whether you're Arteta in, Arteta out, whether you agree with our formations, our opinions, whatever it is, bottom line is this: we're Arsenal fans. Yeah, we can disagree, but when we cross over that white line, we all want the same thing. That's what I'm getting at. Let's focus where it matters. Kill on Kesh.
This is the thing about. That's what I think. Us English fans, we lack unity when it comes to our club. Like, I looked the other day and I saw the Schalke fans all gathered trying to make a chain around the stadium in protest of their owners. Like, you will never see that at Arsenal because we don't know how to unite. We're all trying to fight our own individual agendas, when really the sole focus should be about getting this club back to where it used to be.
Yeah. It's the account fights, isn't it? Who wants the biggest account? That's what's happened to our fan base. I can go on about it for ages. It's another show entirely. Listen, forget about your social media and who's watching you, who's viewing you, and this and that, and think about being a proper fan. There's a problem at your club, right? If you want to deal with it, use your 50,000 or 100,000 subscribers and point it in the right direction. These people, educate them as to what's going on, tell them what's going on, and try to bring some positivity out of it. So at the end of the day, guys, nothing's going to change unless we change things at the top. I think, I've said everything we need to say. I appreciate everyone that's supporting us today. Again, man, I'm surprised. We started something early. I was doubtful people were going to come. You've let us down. Listen, this is the Arsenal Lounge. Keep supporting us. We say it how it is, but we're fair and we listen to everyone's opinions. Don't care who you are, what people think of you. If you're an Arsenal fan, you can come on this show and talk about it. So I'm Lavanja. Kesh, thank you for coming on, bro.
worries,
Kesh
man.
is on a
Anytime,
lot of
man.
different shows. Yeah, if you keep an eye out for Kesh. Kesh, have you got any channels going, or are you YouTube, or you got Twitter that you want to put out there for people to follow you?
Just my Twitter. I haven't really got the time to commit to a channel at the moment.
So
But yeah, you
is
can
this your
find me
Twitter?
on
Yeah,
Twitter. Yeah.
This is Kesh's Twitter tag. So you got Kesh AFC04. Hit him up on Twitter, follow him, and see what he's doing, because he's going to be on a lot of shows with us. You know, Shaheen, he's the co-producer and co-host of this show with me. So Shaheen, bro, thank you for arranging this and sorting this out. I will see you Wednesday. Hopefully, I'll see all you guys on Wednesday. Yeah, for real talk. I'm really looking forward to that. Get your questions ready for that. Hit your like, subscribe, put your notifications on. I'm Lavanja. This is the Arsenal Lounge. We're all pissed off. Let's all go and have a good evening. Take care of yourselves.